Welcome to Power Hour. Can you feel it?
I feel the power.
Can you feel the power? What are we doing today? What are we talking about?
We're talking receiving core. We got a couple more episodes after this for Power Hour in terms of preseason. We got offensive line next, and then defensive special teams. But today it's receiving core, so wide receivers and tight ends, ranking them as a group, 32-1.
Yeah. I do want to talk about how this is our second attempt because of yesterday.
Yeah, I guess we did have a little
technical difficulty.
yesterday with Kale's phone running out of storage.
Out of nowhere.
During the recording. And so we were just kind of sitting here.
Talking to nothing.
And felt like a couple buffoons after that one. But we're going to do it again because we care about you guys.
At least we didn't do both episodes.
That's true. That's true.
Good old learn
as you go.
Kale here.
Live and you learn. But we're gonna do receivers again to get a good quality and maybe fix anything we missed the first time. I guess it's an opportunity for that. So
yeah. So what's going on in the sports week?
Well, the first college football game of the season, Florida State, Georgia Tech, big upset. Georgia Tech pulled off the dub in Dublin. Pulled off the dub in Dublin.
I got PTSD from our Dublin game or the Texas game, last second field goal.
Big 12 championship, 2009. No, it was. I didn't really watch any of the game, but you see highlights and stuff like that, and it was a big upset, and you don't expect it. I mean, and I heard something too. The last time Georgia Tech actually beat a ranked team was back in 2015, and it was also Florida State, and they were ranked number 9, and they were ranked number 10 today. So it's almost like the same, which is kind of intriguing. So that was cool.
Well, did you see that New Mexico, or was it New Mexico State or no? It's the Lobos. They lost. They pretty much pulled the Falcons, had a good lead at halftime, and then get beat by a few points. Yeah,
I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that.
And they lost them. It was Montana.
Okay.
So Montana does have like a little good program. And speaking of field goals, did you know that the CFL? I found this out yesterday. If you miss your field goal, like say if it goes wide right or left, that still counts as 1 point.
Really?
Yeah.
And if you make it, it's
3 points.
3 points.
So they won the game regardless.
What if it's a PAT though?
It's still regular 1 point.
But what if you miss it left or right?
Is it
no points?
I think it counts.
That's dumb though.
Yeah.
They should make it 2 points on PAT.
That's like everyone. It's almost like saying everyone gets a participation award.
They do that in the CFL?
They just started doing it. I don't know how I feel about it, but
I think it's dumb.
I think it's you
miss a field goal, you don't get any points.
Yeah. That is dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the CFL. I mean, that's where you're either gonna make it or make it not.
Yeah, you're either gonna make it into the NFL or you're not gonna make it and your career is gonna end there in the CFL. Or you might make a big career in the CFL.
Yeah, I mean Warren Moon did.
Warren Moon, and then he actually made it to the NFL. But there's a few players that pretty much just stayed in the CFL, didn't they?
Yeah.
None that come to mind.
Devontae Adams is still in there. No.
Devontae Adams.
Not Devontae. I said Vontae or Vontez. The Oregon quarterback that came from.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's still there. There's another big one in there still.
And it's even the same with like arena football. Like there's players that have just carved out careers for themselves in the arena league without going to the NFL.
You'd be surprised a lot of them do well in that league somehow.
Yeah.
And if anything else fails, like graduated college.
Even Tommy Armstrong did.
Well, now he just retired from the beef.
Yep.
Which.
Good career.
Yeah. Back-to-back championships.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I suppose we can get into the episode here.
Let's get into it.
Boring, you guys. Sam, do you mind first, or do you want to do yours?
I'll go ahead and start. So again, we're going 32-1. 32, I got the New England Patriots. Kind of a criteria I set for myself is I listed the team's top 4 receiving options, excluding running backs, since we already did running backs, and I had to include at least one tight end in that group. So for the Patriots, I had Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, and then 2 tight ends, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. Uh, Not really much to say here. I mean, they were the worst offense in the league last year, and they're not really known for their receivers right now. They tried trading for Brandon Ayuk and trading Bourne to the Niners, and Ayuk didn't want to play there because they don't have their quarterback situation figured out. And that's another thing you have to take into consideration when it comes to receivers is um, their quarterback situation, because receivers are so dependent on quarterback play. So whether it's Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, Joe Milton III, uh, it's still kind of an unknown, and the Patriots don't really have that one stud wide receiver to really set them apart. So I got Patriots at 32.
I also have Patriots at 32. And I mean, you simply just put it, but I'm going to use 2 words for it. And this is me being honest, straight ass.
Straight ass.
Straight ass. They just,
That's the accurate way to put it. I could have totally like not said everything I said and been all descriptive and stuff and just said straight ass, and you guys would have got the point. Moving on to 31.
I think we know that the Patriots are probably going to be late.
They're going to struggle offensively this year. They might surprise us, but a lot of these lists are doing they're ranked pretty low. So 31, I got the Los Angeles Chargers. Josh Palmer, DJ Chark, the rookie Lad McConkey, and tight end Will Dissly. We talked about Quentin Johnston in the past. According to ESPN's depth chart, he is a backup. Like, he's reserve. He's not even starting anymore. Johnston's a guy that has all the physical intangibles to be a good NFL wide receiver, but he can't catch the ball. He always drops the ball.
He has Butterfinger syndrome.
Butterfinger syndrome. They also have Brendan Rice as a reserve receiver too, Jerry Rice's son. Who knows? He could come on to the scene this year and be really productive.
Make it be an impactful player.
They could even run 2 tight ends. I saw their backup tight end, I think, is Hayden Hurst, who's not terrible right now. Will Dissly's listed as the starter, but I think this is kind of Jim Harbaugh's way of saying, like, we're going to build the defense. It was really crazy seeing them get rid of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Gerald Everett after last season, their top 3 receiving options. But I think Justin Herbert's a guy who can get it done with kind of a subpar receiving core. If you're a truly great quarterback, you can. As long as he has a good defense, I think they'll win. So it'll be interesting to see what the Chargers do this year. But as it stands right now, they are the 31st ranked receiving core for me.
I also am at 31st. I don't think the first 2 are going to be hard. I think it's pretty obvious. Again, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a make or break year for Quentin Johnson. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much kind of universally accepted that the Patriots and Chargers are the 2 worst receiving core in the league. The only big difference is quarterback. The Chargers know their quarterback. Patriots are still a lot of questions.
It's still surprising that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, they left. But I don't blame them. They're great players that needed to change the scenery.
Yeah. Keenan Allen went to Chicago. Mike Williams went to the Jets. And even Gerald Everett also went to the Bears.
Yep.
So it'll be a backup tight end there. Moving on to 30. Kale, who you got?
I has the Steelers.
He has the Steelers.
I put down the Steelers haven't had a consistent receiver corps since Antonio Brown hit that gave him a major. It's easy. George Pickens can be good, but if he continues to grow, his potential is there, but he just needs to take the next step.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have Steelers ranked a little bit higher, but let's discuss Steelers a little bit. I mean, George Pickens is a good wide receiver, young up-and-comer.
He just needs to take that next step.
I think the Steelers have always capitalized on good receivers.
Yes.
For a long time. dating back to Hines Ward. They had Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, Juju, who had a couple good years.
And then he became a TikTok diva.
Then you go to Deontay Johnson, who's in Carolina now, and now George Pickens.
You can't forget about Washington that was there. At
James
one point.
Washington, Antoine Randall L. A lot of good guys. The only thing is their quarterback situation. It's really unknown. I'll get into more of that when I go over Steelers. But for me at 30, I have the Indianapolis Colts. So Michael Pittman Jr. is the veteran in the group. Adonai Mitchell, the rookie. Josh Downs in the slot, and then Kylan Granson at tight end. Again, just kind of it's a high potential group, but not a lot of substance there. Michael Pittman Jr. is really the only one that's had significant success out of this group. And we got to see if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy and work on his accuracy and mechanics and improve in that area.
He is a field general, that's for sure.
Well, he needs to work on being a field general, I think. But I think
the trade is there. It's just
yeah,
I agree. You have to work on.
He's got to be more of a game manager at times and play within the structure of the offense. But I think it's no question they'll be able to run the ball this year with him and Jonathan Taylor. But passing the ball, he's got to work on his timing, his mechanics, his accuracy with these receivers, the chemistry. And, they might be able to surprise some people this year. But in terms of just what they've done and who's there, I can't rank him much higher than 30 right now. So that's who I've got.
I have the Washington Commanders. Well, originally
29.
I had the Commanders, ranked higher, but Washington was being Washington this week. And they traded away Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
Yep. And for a crap draft pick of a third rounder. And all I got to say is good job, Washington. I'm not surprised. I would hate to be a Washington fan. That is rough. Like, you think being a Lions fan is rough? Holy shit.
I had Washington plummet quite a bit too when they traded Jahan Dotson.
They also got Terry McLaurin.
He's good. Luke McCaffrey,
yeah, he's gonna probably run that slot.
Probably. Zach Ertz at tight end.
Which
he's aging. He's getting older.
I think he could do it. I mean,
he's good.
I thought it was cool that we signed him for like a few days or a few weeks for the Lions, but
Zach Ertz, really?
I think it was Zach Ertz or somebody. I'm pretty sure because we weren't sure about one of our Laporta got hurt and we weren't sure. So.
At 29, I got the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. Is going to be a great rookie. There's no question there. But you look at the other guys. Trey McBride is the tight end, another solid receiver. So you got two guys there who can get it done. But the rest of the group, you got Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, who also just got in trouble with the NF League personal conduct policy.
Shocker.
I think that's something he's kind of struggled with throughout his career. It also is dependent on Kyler Murray if he can return to form and become the Kyler Murray we all know and love. And
not Call of Duty Kyler.
Yeah, the drama queen, the diva.
I want to stay home and play Call of Duty.
He's got that big playability, but Marvin Harrison Jr.
Big splash, big pickup.
He is, and maybe he'll be one of those guys who makes a career out of having great seasons with subpar quarterback play, like another Cardinals receiver did, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yep.
Who only had two good quarterbacks his entire career.
Yeah.
In Arizona, Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer, but remains to be seen. I just the group as a whole. Trey McBride, he had a productive year last year. We have to see if he can keep doing it. It's just the rest of that group outside of him, and then really, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be great, but he's still a rookie. He's still you don't know yet. So we'll see. 28, New York Giants I got. The only name that really pops out is the rookie Malik Neighbors. The rest of the group, There's a lot of potential. Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson. Tight end, I got Theo Johnson. He's a rookie. I think he'll probably be that starting tight end since Darren Waller retired.
Thank you, Kelsey Plum.
And there's just not a whole lot to say. I mean, again, it's the quarterback situation too. Daniel Jones, I think he's trash.
Yeah, Tommy DeVito ain't gonna do it either.
Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock.
Tommy
Like,
DeVito.
look at that group you got there. There's just
Gabagoo.
like that's
Yeah.
I know it's not a quarterback episode, but receiver again, it's so dependent on how the quarterback plays. There are some good receivers that make do with bad quarterback play, and vice versa.
Vice
But
versa.
when you're doing these kind of projections, you got to look at quarterback situation, and the Giants isn't very good.
You also got to look at the offensive line too, a
Yeah.
little bit, if they can protect that quarterback to get that ball.
Exactly, too. Like, it all works together, but as a whole, that group, Malik Neighbors has, hopefully a bright future ahead of him. And a couple other guys that are decent. Neither of them are number one receivers. We'll wait and see. They also got, they got rid of Saquon Barkley. That's not going to help them out at all because the running game also is a factor. So, who you got at 28?
The Broncos. The Broncos, they took some big losses on their receiver core from free agency. Losing Judy is terrible for them. But they added, Washington, or not Washington. They added veteran Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
He did pretty well a couple years for Detroit. Jared Goff got him in there. I thought he was done for after the Rams. They also added Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and if Tim Patrick can stay healthy,
yeah,
I think it'd be a pretty all right team.
Yeah, I think the Broncos have an underrated receiving core.
And again, go back to the quarterback thing. We were right about Bo Nix.
We were right about Bo Nix, yeah. I don't know much about their tight end, Adam Troutman. I don't know if you do, but that's who's starting at tight end for them.
No, I don't know much about him.
But moving on to 27, some people might be a little surprised, maybe not. I got the Baltimore Ravens. I know, it seems a little low because the Ravens are a good football team, and you got Lamar, you got that defense, but receiving core, they're really not the greatest.
They have the great tight end.
They have a great tight end leading that receiving core, Mark Andrews, but then you got Zay Flowers, who's had a good rookie year, but we still want to see him go over 1,000 yards as a receiver. You got Rashad Bateman, who again, decent number two wideout for them. And then I had Isaiah Likely as their number 4 option, the backup tight end. I had him as that number 4 over Nelson Aguilar, who
he was straight trash.
Can't catch anything. He drops it all. So I think there's a clip from Ravens camp. Lamar was getting in his face because he kept dropping passes. I think I got surprised he still has a place on a team. He's played for the Eagles in the past, and I think the Patriots as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because if Mark Andrews can stay healthy, he'll be that number 1, target for Lamar. But Zay Flowers is that threat down the field, that deep threat. And Rashad Bateman's a solid, possession guy. And Isaiah Likely's just a good number 2 tight end, number 2 for the teams, some of these teams run a 2 tight end offense. I think the Ravens will be one of those teams. They're a smash mouth football team. They're known for running the ball. They have a good fullback too. So 2 tight ends isn't out of the question for them when it comes to passing. So I got the Ravens at 27.
I have the Giants. I mean, you touched pretty well on it. I wrote down that the Giants are going to rely on Neighbors quite a bit this year since he's their best receiver. And if Waller didn't retire, the Giants could have done a 2-1 punch with him.
With Waller and Neighbors, yeah.
You can have the speedy receiver who can catch, and then you got that big ass tight end who can block, shed tackles, get down the field.
Get him the ball in the red zone,
but again, it goes
be that red zone target.
It comes back down to who's that quarterback for that team.
And again, it's we don't want to write anyone off completely on here because you never know, someone could come out and have a breakout season.
It'll be a one-hit wonder again. And then
I just don't think Daniel Jones is going to do that. His best year was in 2022. They went to the playoffs, but Saquon was
Carried
the
it.
engine to that
Yeah.
offense. It wasn't Daniel Jones.
He was the engine to the car.
Yeah. Anyway, 26. I got the Buffalo Bills, and it's pretty similar to the Ravens situation. I think their starting tight end, Dalton Kincaid, is the best receiver in the offense right now. They also have the rookie out of Florida State, Keon Coleman. We just talked about Florida State. They got Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel, the speedy veteran, and then a good backup tight end in Dawson Knox. And this is a team that could run a 2 tight end system. I think they could lean a little bit more on their ground game this year after having lost both. People talk about Stephon Diggs, but they don't talk about Gabe Davis as much. And they lost both guys. Gabe Davis was a solid number 2 for them, and they lost their 1 and their 2. So now they're kind of unknown. Hopefully Josh Allen is developing chemistry with these guys, but we know he has chemistry with Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, those tight ends. And probably they're going to lean on James Cook a little bit more in the ground game. And we could maybe see Josh Allen step back and take on a little bit more of a game manager role this year.
Yeah.
Kind of how I see it. I'm not saying he's going to go full game manager, and a lot of people use that as a negative term, but he's still going to make those Josh Allen wow plays. But I think they're just going to lean a little bit more on the ground game and, field position, ball control offense this year, and the defense.
Number 26 for me, I had the Arizona Cardinals. We were talking about how they how they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. and that kid's a stud.
Yeah.
Is he? I can't remember. Is he coming in with an injury recovery or?
I don't
think so.
I don't know. I'm not going to say whether or not.
I wrote down is he's gonna make a huge splash his rookie year, and Kyler Murray will have a better target to throw other than Trey McBride, and
it was a great tight end.
Yeah, and he led the team last year with 800 plus yards,
which isn't a bad thing, but
you need a receiver who can get almost close to 1,000, not just your tight end.
The thing is Kyler Murray isn't Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar. He's just not on their level.
He's just Kyler Murray.
Like a great quarterback can make do with the tight end as their number 1 target. But I also think Trey McBride he's not Travis Kelce. He's not Mark Andrews. 25, I've got Washington Commanders. So they plummeted in my list. They were quite a bit higher when they had Jahan Dotson. So their top 4 guys, I've got Terry McLaurin, Luke McCaffrey, Zach Ertz, and then De'Ami Brown, who's listed as a starter now since they've traded Jahan Dotson to the Eagles. Terry McLaurin's a stud.
Yeah.
Scary Terry.
He has been a stud ever since he came in the league.
And Luke McCaffrey, very versatile guy.
Yeah.
We don't speak of him in very great light since he...
I don't, honestly, looking at it now, and I don't want to get sidetracked, and we're going to keep going after this, is we both know it was Scott Frost.
Yeah, it was. Totally.
That kid was open to anything.
But he'll play the slot. He'll probably play out wide. He might play a little bit in the backfield for the Commanders. Who knows? He's a guy who can play all over the field. Zach Ertz, tight end, aging veteran tight end, but as long as he can stay healthy, he'll be a reliable veteran, I think, red zone target for the Commanders.
Yeah, he could definitely get it done still.
And then De'Ami Brown, I really don't know much about that guy.
De'Ami.
That's just who they had, so I put him on my list. They also have a rookie quarterback throwing them the ball and a good pass-catching running back in Austin Eckler. So we'll see.
That was a good – I mean, we'll think about it, though. That was a good pickup for them. We forgot to mention that.
I think Brian Robinson Jr. will be the starter, though, for them at running back. He'll be the bell cow, but –
that doesn't mean they can still use Eckler.
They'll use Eckler.
He'll line him up in the receiver if he needs to.
Oh, yeah. He's that versatile type of back. So, but, yeah, that's Washington at 25 for me.
I had the Saints at 25. They got Chris Olave, who's pretty damn good for them.
Rashid Shaheed.
The Rashid Shaheed. But then, they also are replacing Michael Thomas.
Trying to.
Or trying. Where did he end up?
I think he's a free agent.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish if I was somebody, I think I would pick him up. But
I'm going
again,
to look at that real quick.
again,
Keep going.
he could be a drama queen still, if someone were to pick up. They just got Cedric Wilson, who was another great receiver in the free agency. They don't have the greatest core, but they have a core that can get it done.
Yeah, Chris Olave's a stud.
Yeah.
He was a stud at college. He's been a stud ever since he got into the league. Rashid Shaheed, I love that name. He'll I don't know a whole lot about him yet. He was solid last year, and yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about him when I get to the Saints. I have them in a few spots here. At 24, though, I've got the Denver Broncos. You talked about them. You touched on them pretty good. I think Cortland Sutton is.
I keep forgetting my son.
Cortland Sutton's their number one receiver. You didn't talk about him at all, did you?
I keep forgetting about Sutton.
And see, Cortland Sutton is the Broncos' number one wide receiver.
When I think of Sutton, I think of a DB for some reason.
So Cortland Sutton is the Broncos' number one receiver, and I think he's super underrated.
Yeah.
He's been a dog ever since he's come into the league. He doesn't complain. He doesn't whine that the Broncos suck and that they haven't had a good quarterback since Peyton Manning. And he just goes out there and balls and has 1,000 receiving yards every year, it seems like.
Yeah, and then you also, like I said, if you got Tim Patrick, that dude is tall.
Yeah.
But he needs to be healthy.
Tim Patrick will step into a bigger role this year, especially since they traded Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
who was kind of a bust in Denver. He was a bust in Denver. Maybe he'll get it done in Cleveland. Josh Reynolds, who they picked up, who's a solid number 3 receiver. Adam Troutman at tight end. Who's the rookie? Mims?
Yeah, Marvin Mims or Franklin.
And then there's Franklin too. Yep. And they might finally have a guy at quarterback now in Bo Nix.
Yeah. He's a dog.
I like Bo Nix.
He was a dog at Auburn and he was a dog at Oregon, which is kind of ironic.
And now we can say AFC West. They have 2 quarterbacks in the division
I think
that
both
are from Oregon
AFC and NFC are going to be tough this year.
AFC West has Bo Nix and Justin Herbert now.
Yep. For my pick, I had the Panthers.
Okay.
They got Adam Thielen, but he's getting older. He's not where he was when he first started with the Vikings. They just picked up Deontay Johnson, which is a huge pickup for them.
Yeah.
And, they also got their 32nd draft pick, that Legate kid.
Jonathan Mingo is on the team.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. I think he's a shifty little slot guy.
Yep.
Tommy Tremble at tight end.
Yep. And, it's going to help. Maybe it's going to show that, hey, Bryce Young, are you the guy or not? Because I think you and I both know that owner of the Panthers.
How's their offensive line? I can't remember.
Not well.
They're not that good.
No,
they're not.
I don't think I ranked them high on the offensive line part. But anyway, you and I both know the owner of the Panthers.
Hey, Matt Rule used to coach them.
Yeah, but a lot of people blame Matt Rule for destroying Cam Newton when he came back, which I find that total bullshit.
No. Cam Newton destroyed.
Cam Newton destroyed himself.
He destroyed himself, and his career was gonna be short-lived with the way he played. Anyway,
I think after Super Bowl 50, it fucked with him.
He had one other decent year after that. A couple years later, they made the playoffs, but after that, yeah.
I thought he was gonna do it in New England.
He started out good.
I don't think
he was good until he got COVID.
Yeah, that, and I think that was also kind of like a Belichick thing. He saw he had COVID, so get rid of him. They probably didn't, they probably butt heads.
Probably.
But, again, the owner of the Panthers, he won't put up with shit like that, and he'll see if Bryce Young is the guy for next year. So
that was your 24?
Yeah.
So I had the Panthers at 23. And you talked about it. Deontay Johnson is going to step in as the new number 1. Adam Thielen is a, nice veteran target, good route runner, great hands. Not the fastest guy in the world anymore. He's getting older.
I think last year is probably the most that he
Uh,
had cut touches in a while.
the rookie Xavier Leggett,
Legette.
Legate, or whatever.
Sounds French.
Jonathan Mingo's another guy, and then they have the Tommy Tremble at tight
Yep.
end.
Yep.
Who I don't know much about Tommy Tremble. But again, yeah, it comes down to Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard out of the backfield too. I mean, decent receiver. Can Bryce Young get the ball to his playmakers? At the end of the day, the offensive line might not help a whole lot, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Who do you got at 23?
The Bills.
Okay.
Last year out of nowhere, the Bills traded Stephon Diggs and they lost Gabe Davis in free agency, but they picked up Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman. But the one thing that worries about me with Coleman is if he's gonna. He had trouble in college.
Yeah.
But is he gonna fix it in the NFL? A lot of these rookies come in.
He's funny.
Yeah, these rookies come in, and it's a reality check. They know they gotta make it or break it, but sometimes that's gonna be a lot of pressure on a kid who just came out.
It will be.
I don't see much improvement from that squad very much.
No. Curtis Samuel's a speedy vet for them.
Yep.
Dalton Kincaid, I think, is developing into a really good tight end, NFL tight end. 22. I got the Saints. We talked about it. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Jawan Johnson at tight end. You talked about Cedric Wilson Jr. There's also A.T. Perry, who's currently listed as a starter for them as in the slot. Someone I originally had in the receiving core that I took out because I saw he was getting starting reps at fullback for them now. That was Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill kind of does a little bit of everything for the Saints.
Oh, he originally came in the league as a fucking quarterback and then tight end, and then
he does a little bit of everything. He does a little receiver, a little running back, tight end, special teams, quarterback. But recently they've been giving him reps at fullback. And I could see it. They have another guy playing fullback for them, Adam Prentice. And I like to stay up to date on the current fullbacks in the league because it's kind of a dying breed. There's not a lot of them out there
fullbacks
anymore.
Great again.
Yeah, for real.
And fullbacks we trust.
But I could see maybe Taysom Hill taking over the starting spot at fullback for them because he's got the build. He has to work on his blocking. He's got the athleticism. But that's why I took him out of the receiving core because he's playing fullback now. And yeah. Chris Olave has been a stud since he came to the league. Rashid Shaheed has a lot of potential. Jawan Johnson is average tight end. And it comes down to the quarterback situation. Derek Carr is not getting any better with age. And Spencer Rattler is an interesting rookie who might take over as a starter maybe at some point this year if Carr gets hurt or if he's playing like trash. We'll see. That's who I got at 22. I think
Spencer Rattler, I will say, he has grew up as a person.
He's matured a lot.
But who knows? It could still be in there. I had the Jags at 22. So the Jaguars, they lost Calvin Ridley. No, was it Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, they lost Calvin Ridley.
They lost Calvin Ridley. They have Evan Ingram as a tight end, who's still pretty good. He was really great in Giants. Christian Kirk, who's pretty speedy if he wants to be.
Good little slot receiver.
Yep. And then, I don't see very much improvement for that squad.
They got Gabe Davis now.
Yeah, they did pick up Gabe Davis.
Yep.
But Gabe Davis is stepping into a role that
he's supposed to be that guy to replace Ridley.
Good luck.
I mean, Kirk is kind of that number one, honestly, out of the slot. But Davis is supposed to become that deep threat that Ridley was.
Yeah.
So. My 21 Las Vegas Raiders. They would honestly be ranked lower if they didn't have Devontae Adams. But Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, and then it looks like Trey Tucker is going to be the guy that replaces Hunter Renfrow in the slot.
Still can't believe they got rid of him.
Yeah. So, kind of a shocker again that they got rid of Renfro.
And nobody still has picked him up.
And yeah, no one's picked him up. He's still a free agent. But Trey Tucker looking to be the guy that replaces him in the slot, and he might be a little bit speedier, a little bit more explosive. I don't know. He might not be as good of a route runner, as good of hands.
Hunter was fast. I don't know if they were. But again, it's that bull hair looking ass motherfucker that owns the Raiders. You ain't like your daddy. Get a better haircut, you fucking egg.
You ain't your daddy.
Get a better haircut, you egg.
And you? Your hair's shaped like an egg.
They'd be like, "Well, you're fat. You look like an egg." Too. I don't care. He's more relevant than I am, so
that's true.
I don't care. Continue.
I don't know. Devontae Adams. I mean, really, that's really what's going to carry their receiving core. They finally know who their starting quarterback is, Gardner Minshew. So you were right. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be Aiden O'Connell, but it was Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew won the job, fair and square, and he really just fits the Raiders so well as their starting quarterback. Raiders. He's got that look. Like, he's just got the look of, like, that's the Raiders quarterback, like Gardner Minshew. So
I think if any team that looks like the silver and black, I think
just get the ball to Devontae. They got probably the best rookie tight end in Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers is a solid red zone target. He scores a lot of touchdowns. So I don't know. We'll see. Not the greatest group collectively, but they have a great number one in Devontae Adams. So you got a 21.
I have the Indianapolis Colts. They just picked up a Donnie Mitchell. Who's going to be pretty good for
rookie.
them. Yep. And then they got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. I see a little bit of improvement, with them. You touched pretty well on it with when you had your picks. But again, it comes down to the quarterback with Anthony Richardson. Can he take the next step of being the guy for them as well?
Kylan Granson at tight end.
Yep.
I mean, and then they got a few guys who've been playing tight end for them because there's also Mo Ali Cox.
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 Yep.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Number 20. I got the Steelers. George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth. They got Van Jefferson now from the Rams, and the rookie Roman Wilson. So I couldn't rank him much higher. I mean, Pickens has shown he's a good NFL talent. He's had a couple really good years coming into the league. The Steelers have been playing musical chairs at quarterback. Really have been in quarterback purgatory ever since Big Ben retired. Going through Trubisky, Pickett, Rudolph. Now they got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. So, it just depends. But I think Freiermuth's an underrated tight end. Van Jefferson is a solid number 2 or 3 receiver. Roman Wilson's an interesting rookie. We'll see if they can get it done. The Steelers seem to always have a knack, like I said, of developing wide receivers for whatever reason. They're known for defense, wide receivers, and running backs. What do you think about that?
Very good. Pretty good.
Sometimes it may be good, or sometimes it may be shit.
Yeah. Number 20. One Baltimore Ravens, please.
One Baltimore Raven.
So Zay Flower, he last year had a great rookie year.
He had a great rookie year.
He did. But he's adding depth into that receiving core, but it has the potential to still grow. They have room for all that. They just picked up Devontae Walker, and
I didn't even talk about him. They still have Rashad Bateman,
Mark Andrews too. Like
he's coming back from injury.
He's injury prone, but
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, he might likely get the top spot. He might likely not.
He likely won't over Mark Andrews, but
no.
Nelson Aguilar, who's Butterfingers.
He's a straight ass. He's like Quentin Johnson before Quentin Johnson.
He's the slot receiver version of Quentin Johnston. Number 19.
Didn't they go to the same college?
I don't know.
Pretty sure they did.
Number 19, I got the Jaguars. You kind of touched on it really well. So Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Evan Ingram, Brian Thomas Jr. Um, Brian Thomas Jr. is probably going to be really the guy opposite Gabe Davis. You know, Kirk runs the slot. Ingram's the tight end.
Ooh.
Travis Etienne Jr. is a big asset for them out of the backfield. Again, I'm touching on running backs a little bit because some of these guys are big parts of their team's passing game, even though we talked about them in the last episode. They're still very relevant in the receiving corps and the passing game. And again, it comes down to quarterback situation. Trevor Lawrence can stay healthy and comes back to 100%. I got no worries. Because when he's at his best and he's 100% healthy, he's top 10 quarterback in the league. Just like a couple seasons ago. He led the Jags to the playoffs. Last year, they were in prime spot to run away with the AFC, and then he got hurt. So it remains to be seen. But it's a solid group. Losing Calvin Ridley was huge, though. I agree. 19.
Falcons. So for the Falcons, the reason why I put them there is because, I mean, they got a lot of questions to answer, but I think their line is going to really improve this year. They got their veteran quarterback in there who's going to throw it down the field. You know that he can get some plays off, but the only thing is worried is, you know, he got the injury. He had the ACL tear last year, and, you know, they got their second string, who probably will be what's his face from Indiana. Well, was for Indiana, and then Washington, Michael Penix.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a Drake London show last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got Kyle Pitts, and I think they're actually going to use Kyle Pitts like this year than they didn't last year.
No. He had a good rookie year, sophomore slump last year, and hopefully he comes back this year.
It was tough having him on my team for fantasy last year. But I don't think it's because he wasn't playing bad.
He split. They had him splitting time with Jonnu Smith, too.
Yeah.
Who's another solid tight end.
I don't think he played bad yet last year. It was more of
the scheme.
Yeah. They
also have Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore they added.
Yep. Rondale is pretty fast at the slot.
Yep.
He has been since Purdue.
I looked it up. Quentin Johnston and Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
They did not go to the same college.
Oh, I thought they were.
Aguilar went to USC. Johnston went to TCU.
I thought they both were from TCU.
Nope. So I was like, okay, I better look that up.
Yeah.
New York Jets, I have at 18. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Xavier Gibson, Tyler Conklin at tight end. Conklin. Garrett Wilson has had a great start to his career. He's had 2 really good seasons to start, both over 1,000 yards, both over 10 touchdowns too, I believe. So he won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2022. It comes down to if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy. You know, if he doesn't get injured again, we all know what a healthy Aaron Rodgers can do. You know.
Don't give me PTSD, please.
Hail Mary. 2015.
Shut up.
Mike Williams, solid number 2 receiver. He was for a long time with the Chargers. Again, he's had some injury problems. Xavier Gibson in the slot. They also have that rookie Malachi Corley, who might burst onto the scene a little bit this year. Tyler Conklin is not a great tight end, but he gets the job done. Aaron Rodgers has been known to get it done without a stud at tight end. He doesn't need an elite tight end to have success.
And
then there's also Breece Hall out of the backfield.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Jets at 18.
Number 18, I don't think you will probably agree with it, but I have Tampa.
Yeah, I have Tampa much higher. I will say this. I have Tampa in my top 5. Tampa Bay is in my top 5. I don't know if that's a wild take on my end. Maybe it is. Since
or maybe it's a bad take for me. I don't know.
But I think they have a great receiving core with those guys. They have 2 proven guys who are 1,000-yard receivers. They have an up-and-coming youngster in Trey Palmer. And they have a solid tight end in Cade Otton. And a good quarterback.
You just pretty much nailed it on the head for me right there. But what I will say, though, I just feel like they just need to add one more guy. One more guy.
One more guy, just maybe add a little bit of depth.
Then I think
maybe.
they can probably get past that wild card round. Or
Rashad White is a decent receiving back, too.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But he's not a receiver. He's a running back.
He's not Ty Montgomery, who can just switch.
Ty Montgomery.
I can just
Don't talk about that guy.
Who can, fuck up a kickoff. And
Ty Montgomery had one good year for Green Bay and then fumbled the kickoff and then never
heard of again.
Yeah. 17, I got Tennessee Titans. This is a group that has a lot of potential to be a lot higher with the guys that they have. You have Calvin Ridley at the 1, D-Hop on the other side, the crafty, aging vet whose best days are probably behind him, but he's still D-Hop, mind you. Tyler Boyd in the slot, one of the best slot receivers in the game. He was great in Cincinnati for a lot of years, even before the Joe Burrow days with Andy Dalton. And then their tight end, who I'm going to butcher the hell out of his name. I'm going to do it again. Chigazine Okonkwo. Or Chigazime Okonkwo, something like that. So
I like the attempt.
There's also, what is it? Do you know what it is?
No.
So Traylon Burks, too, who was drafted to replace A.J. Brown when they traded him to the Eagles a few years ago. And he's buried on the depth chart now, but maybe he'll emerge this year. And also, another reason why I have them ranked lower is because their quarterback situation is still an unknown with Will Levis. So,
Levis.
Yeah. Levi's. Will Levi's.
Will you Levi's today?
You just use Levi as a verb. I don't know if I like that.
Number 17, I had the Las Vegas Raiders.
Your head's shaped like an egg.
Yeah, Egg Boy. Instead of Ed Boy, it's Egg Boy.
Ed Boy.
I gotta make a picture of him and put it. We're gonna have to put it on a shirt. Anyway,
have to.
I don't want to get sidetracked here, but I picked the Raiders because they got Devontae Adams. So I mean, if they didn't have him, like you said, they would be a lot lower.
They'd be like towards the bottom.
And them getting rid of Renfro, that is kind of a big loss. They don't probably realize that. Maybe they saw something in this other dude. Maybe
Trey Tucker could be solid.
Yeah. Gardner Minshew, I was right. You were wrong about him being quarterback starting. But
you were right. Okay. I was right about the Broncos.
We both were.
Oh, well. I thought Aiden O'Connell would win it. Sorry.
Maybe he's going to throw it to Thurkel.
I'd have thrown it to Thurkel. Don't play Madden with Kale. He would always just throw it to Thurkel.
Anyway, Devontae Adams, he's probably going to be the main guy. I'm surprised that they didn't go try for another receiver in the draft, whether it be a late pick. I think they could have got something. But
moving on to 16, top half. We're at the top half of the league now.
Thank God. Okay.
I got the Cleveland Browns. Their top 4 receivers I got from them are Amari Cooper, David Njoku at tight end. They got Jerry Jeudy now as that number 2, and then Elijah Moore in the slot as that number 3. Solid group, honestly. Amari Cooper is a great receiver. I think he's also underrated. David Njoku, one of the better tight ends in the league. And then you got Jerry Jeudy, who's kind of been a bust up to this point in his career during his days in Denver, but he's got a shot to redeem himself in Cleveland. Hopefully, if Deshaun Watson can put it together finally. And then Elijah Moore's a solid slot receiver. There's nothing too great to say about him, but he's shown promise at times.
But can he keep that promise?
Right. So, and then again, quarterback situation. It comes back to if Deshaun Watson can put it together. If he can put it together, sure. This receiving core, this offense is going to explode this year. They also got a great running game with Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford.
The chub.
What?
The chub.
Nick Chubb.
No, the chub.
The Chubb.
The chub.
The Chubb. But yeah, the Browns. I mean, there's not much more to say about it. It's, I mean, a solid group, talented group, and some of these descriptions are going to start getting a little more positives as we get higher because we're in the top half now. So, not a whole lot of bad things to say about this group. It's really seeing it. Can Jerry Jeudy take that, become that truly good NFL receiver, and can Deshaun Watson get his head out of his ass?
Yeah, instead of massage parlors, parlors.
Try again.
Massage parlors.
Okay.
I have the Jets. Jets. Jets.
Nah.
Not personally a big fan of the Jets, but I mean, I think this is kind of a courteous ranking. But
that's because Garrett Wilson, and that's it, really, isn't it?
yeah,
Mike Williams,
if he can stay healthy, and then
Rodgers,
Malachi. Oh,
Malachi. It looks like Malachi.
Yeah, Malachi.
I had a college classmate named Malachi, and I thought it was pronounced Malachi at first. Malachi.
He'll take the slot, I think,
over Xavier Gibson.
Yeah, Gip.
It's Gibson with a P, not with a B, not Gibson. Gibson.
Yeah. And then I had the next pick was the Browns.
At 15.
Yep. If Amari Cooper stays, legitimate at the number one receiver, then I think they'd be all right. I'm sure that they could,
David Njoku at tight end.
Yep. He's also a dog. He plays lights out literally every game. Even with
he's been on the Browns for a long time too.
Yes.
And he's had his ups and downs.
Yes.
Like there was a while he was the backup.
Yep.
Like they didn't know if he was going to really make it as a starter, but he's finally coming to his own.
And then he got hurt with that accident at home, and then he still played while recovering. And that right there, there, man, I tell you.
15, I got the Falcons. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore. Solid group. Very solid group. I think Drake London is one of the greatest, not one of the greatest, but one of the best young receivers in the game. Kyle Pitts is a very versatile, talented tight end. Had a solid rookie year. Kind of had a sophomore slump last year. Darnell Mooney was good in Chicago as a number 2. Rondale Moore is a great slot receiver. The Falcons got Rondale Moore in a trade with the Cardinals when they traded Desmond Ridder to the Cardinals, who's going to be their backup quarterback. Speaking of quarterback, they now have a guy who can throw in Kirk Cousins.
And a backup. Their backup could throw pretty well.
But staying on Kirk Cousins, he's also old, coming off an injury. We'll see if he can, stay healthy, but if he can, he's a great game manager, great distributor of the football. He should be able to get the ball these weapons. I could see the Falcons have a great offense this year. I really could. Bijan Robinson in the backfield. Yeah. And then, like you said, they have a good rookie backup, Michael Penix Jr., out of Washington. So we'll see. But, yeah, I got the Falcons at 15. At 14, I got the Cowboys.
Cowgirls.
CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson at tight end, Jalen Tolbert is that number 3 in the slot. It's one of those where they haven't signed CD yet to a contract. So it's going to be interesting to see if he signs and if he plays this year. Brandon Cooks has been a great wide receiver throughout his whole career. Consistently gets over 1,000 yards. Speedy veteran. He's got to stay healthy, though. He's gotten kind of injury prone in his recent years.
Yep.
Jake Ferguson, his solid tight end, young tight end.
He needs to stay healthy, too.
Yep. And then Jalen Tolbert in the slot. They could do better.
Yeah.
He's not bad, but they could do better. Dak Prescott, he had a great year last year. I'm not gonna lie, but
His offensive line kind of killed him a little bit.
a little bit, which is weird because the Cowboys are known for having good
Offense.
offensive line
Yeah.
and being able to run the ball, and they're not
Run the
gonna have that.
ball.
They're not gonna have that this year.
Did you see the meme? Sorry to cut you off. Go on top for a second. Did you see the Georgia Tech coach last night? They asked him like, "What'd you do?" Blah blah blah, and he's like, "Run the damn ball."
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll have to show you after.
But yeah, Dak, he's also one of those quarterbacks who he's not going to be able to get it done without a stud number one receiver, and we've seen that in the past. So I guess we'll see. But that's who I got at 14 is the Cowboys.
I had here. I had Titans. And the reason is because they got Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley. Good additions, great additions.
D Hop.
D Hop, yeah, but he needs to stay healthy, and
He's also getting old.
Yep. If he can stay,
What's their tight end's name? I want to hear you say it.
Oh, is it? I'm pass. I can't pronounce that shit. Ochiki.
That's not even close.
I know.
That's not even close.
I'm calling Chicken Boy.
Chigazim.
No, Chigazim.
Okonkwo.
Okay.
You had him on your fantasy team last year, I thought, as a backup.
Yeah, he did pretty well for me. Which
Okonkwo.
I don't know if we're doing that this year.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. It's getting too close now.
I think
I got a couple other leagues though.
I know. I think you and I both know why, but we ain't gonna talk about it. Number
13.
13, Kansas City Chiefs. It was pretty much, they did okay. But they still won the Super Bowl. A lot of people are like, but they should be up higher because they won the Super Bowl. And no, it ain't because they won the Super Bowl. The reason why I have them where they're at is because, I'll be honest, it was Mahomes doing Mahomes things, getting by because his receiver core is all right. But dude, you could be like Looney Tooney.
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, I call him Looney Tooney.
That's all right.
Bitch and complain and not getting his way and get upset because
they've been trying him out at running back in training camp.
I'm surprised he's still on the fucking team.
Yeah, he's still on the team.
Rashid Rice, good player.
Yeah. They've added some pieces.
Yep.
I actually got the Chiefs at 13 as well, so I'll just kind of chime in on this with you. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown.
They added him.
They drafted Xavier
But he
Worthy.
does have a Butterfinger syndrome a little bit.
Sometimes. He's very fast.
He is very fast.
They drafted Worthy out of Texas.
He needs to put on some weight.
He needs to put on some weight. I think he only weighs like
Pebble. He weighs like a pebble.
I want to say like 165, dude.
I mean, that's kind of why he is fast.
If he can put on some mass, though, I mean, and stay lean.
I feel like when he gets hit, he's going to get hard.
I mean, because you look at a guy like Tyreek Hill, he's not that big.
No.
But he's solid.
Yep.
Like he's not 165, but he's like 185, and he's built. Worthy is skinny. And he's getting pushed around like a rag doll in practice, this video I saw. But no, I think the Chiefs, the thing is their receiving core is led by Travis Kelce. He's the guy. And just like a couple of these other teams, like the Ravens, the Bills, I have their tight end as their number one receiver.
Well, like I brought up yesterday before we had to re-record this, do you think that Travis Kelce is going to get distracted by Taylor Swift stuff? I think if he does,
he could.
I feel like his numbers might decline.
He didn't last year.
But I mean, it kind of came about end of it, or was it the year before?
It was last year.
Before
last season.
Okay.
She came to like all their games, and his regular season production might have dipped a little bit, but he was still productive. The Chiefs still won the division. They still, and in the playoffs, he went to that level, man.
I think people are still expecting him. He might retire.
when it gets to the playoffs, Mahomes and Kelsey,
They go together like this.
they enter another stratosphere, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he's the leader of that receiving core, and then they're trying so hard to find the next Tyreek Hill, even though they've proven they can win without him.
Well, like again, I said, Xavier Woody.
They've won 2 Super Bowls since trading Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins.
They've done well.
Yeah, they've won back-to-back Super Bowls.
They found someone who's fast.
A couple.
Yeah, but
I mean, Rashee Rice is fast, but he's more that possession guy.
Yeah.
And then Hollywood Brown and Worthy are going to try to be the speedy guys.
Speedy guys, yep.
Yeah.
But if they can catch.
Well, there's the guy that caught the game-winning touchdown, Mecole Hardman.
Yep.
He was also fast. Sky Moore. At 12, I've got the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta at tight end, Jameis Williams at the 2, Khalif Raymond as that number 3. Solid group of receivers. They did great last year. They went to the NFC Championship game. Khalif Raymond, I guess he kind of replaces Josh Reynolds as the number 3.
Yep.
Behind St. Brown and Williams. You also got Gibbs out of the backfield, who's more that receiving back.
But they
Montgomery.
they added Hakeem Butler yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did say that. They got Gibbs out of the backfield. Montgomery's going to be more the battering ram, running back, the power guy, and a great field general at quarterback in Jared Goff. He's had a great career resurgence in Detroit. He was in my top 10 quarterbacks list. So I think they got a solid offense. I really don't have anything bad to say. I don't know. The only reason I don't have him ranked much higher is because Jameson Williams still needs to show more. And I don't know a whole lot about this Khalif Raymond guy. But Sam Laporta was a great rookie tight end.
And we got a backup tight end for my team. We have Brock Wright who can back up Laporta pretty well.
Yeah, and he might be able to do like a little H-back, fullback stuff for them even.
Yeah.
And then St. Brown speaks for himself. He was all-pro last year.
He's a shifty little guy.
He was a Pro Bowl snub. Should have made the Pro Bowl.
Which Pro Bowl is this a joke in general?
It's a joke, yeah. But yeah, he's top 5, top 10 wide receiver in the league. So that's why I got at 12, Detroit Lions.
I have Dallas at 12. We touched about it pretty good, but
the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. One big concern for me for them, I think they have a pretty solid receiving core, but it's just re-signing or whatever they're doing, the CD. But Jerry Jones is probably going to mess it up like he did with Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was great in Dallas and messed it up, and it hurt. It probably hurt him.
Well, another thing, again, it goes back to Dak. If he doesn't have a true number 1 stud, he struggles. He struggled he was good with Dez. Line. They got rid of Dez. He struggled. Then they got Amari Cooper. He was good. Now they have CD. He's good. If they can't replace CD, if they can't re-sign him, or not re-sign him, but sign him to an extension, big contract, and they can't get him and they can't replace him, he's going to struggle. Because Brandon Cooks is not that guy anymore.
Nope. But again, it brings it up to the offensive line. When I watched a lot of their games, especially that last, it still haunts me, the Lions game. Dude, that one big touchdown he had to CeeDee Lamb in their end zone, our end zone. He almost got sacked because that pocket collapsed because of that O-line.
Yep.
And he had a lot of struggle throws like that last year. So.
Yeah, and seeing as Dak used to be one of those guys who could run before his big injury in 2020. Now he's a pocket guy. He's similar to like a Jared Goff or a Kirk Cousins. He's not gonna run around like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen or a Lamar. He's gonna sit in the pocket, and if it collapses, he's fucked. Plain and simple. Moving on to 11, I got my team Green Bay Packers at 11, just outside the top 10, just one spot ahead of your Lions.
I actually had the Packers too, so I'll chime in with you.
But before I get into it, this list was really dominated by NFC North teams. I have every NFC North teams in the top 12.
Yeah.
So I got Packers at 11. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Luke Musgrave are their top 4 for me right now. Musgrave being the starting tight end. The only thing that's holding them back from being higher is one, lack of experience. They're a young group. And two, they haven't really defined who that true number 1 guy is yet. It should be Watson. He's got the most upside. He has shown the most big time potential.
He's very speedy.
Especially in his rookie year when Aaron Rodgers was still there. He had that game against Dallas. I'm like, dude, this looks like prime Randy Moss almost. Like similar build. He's fast. But then he's been injury prone. He's been battling injuries. He can't stay on the field. And so that's been his big downfall. Whereas Romeo Doubs has maybe not shown as much flash and huge potential as Watson, but he's been more consistent.
Yeah.
I feel like he runs better routes, has a little bit better hands. So I have Doubs as the number 1, and then Jaden Reed had a great rookie year last year, playing the slot, that versatile dude who can do some stuff out of the backfield. He's basically the new Randall Cobb, but faster, more athletic. He can do so much for us. We can have him return kicks if he needs to. A lot of good things to say about Jaden Reed. And then Watson, I already talked about him. Musgrave, the starting tight end. He had an injury last year. He was out for a while, but he played really good in the playoff game against Dallas. Tucker Kraft, the backup tight end, also had a productive year. And then a couple guys that aren't even mentioned on this list that are on the roster. Dontavian Wicks, who also has a lot of potential. They say he has number 1 receiver potential. All these guys have number 1 receiver potential. Bo Melton, who's a shorter, shiftier, speedier guy. It's kind of a slot guy. And then before we crashed yesterday or whatever during the episode, you brought up Samori Toure. And I would love to see him get a bigger role in the Packers offense. I don't see it happening because he is an ex-Nebraska Cornhusker. But I just think with all the other guys on that team, I just don't see it happening. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see. He had some good catches his rookie year with Rodgers, but didn't do much last year. So
I think he's fallen on the depth chart.
Yeah. I hope he gets a shot with another team, though. I just don't think it'll be with Green Bay, unfortunately. But we do lose Aaron Jones, who was a great receiving back.
But you pick up Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, and he's underrated as a receiver, but let's be honest, we're not going to use him as a receiver. We don't really have that running back anymore. They're all kind of power guys now. But we're so deep at wide receiver, we don't really need that. Plus, Jaden Reed can be that guy if we need him to be. So I talked a lot. They also got Jordan Love, who's kind of an early MVP favorite. We'll see. I don't like all the hype too much. I like Jordan Love, but he's had one good year. We'll see how it goes. But
I need to clip that. That's the first time I heard that.
What?
I don't think you were ever going to say something like that.
What did I say?
Good first year. We're just going to see how well he does this second year.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been telling so many people that are Packer fans, oh, no. Well, except for Vance. Vance is straight up hates him.
I like Love. I've always liked him.
I like Love, too. I just don't want to see him go through the sophomore slump.
I like him. I just don't like all the hype he's getting, is all. He's had 1 year, one good year. So, I don't know. We'll see. He's not Aaron. He's not Aaron yet. He's not even close.
I think
if he can be a fraction as good as Aaron, I'll be happy throughout his career.
I think you pretty much hit it on the head there.
Yeah.
I don't really need to explain anything.
Yeah. I know my team.
Well, no shit, you do.
So, you know your team. You probably have them next, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead then? Number 10.
You know, you touched on James Williams. I think I agree with that. You know, he needs to prove this year if he's going to be making it or breaking it. But, you know, from the videos I've seen and all the practice clips, I think he's going to be that guy. Put him out anywhere because next year everyone's going to be expecting us to throw it to Amon St. Brown.
He's a guy who has number one potential.
Yeah.
Number one receiver potential. Obviously, that guy is St. Brown.
Yeah.
But Williams has the size. St. Brown's a
Yes.
smaller guy.
Yes.
And they're gonna be expecting
Brown can
him.
run anywhere where he needs to. Like if he needs to
Brown-
play the slot, he'll play the slot. If
Yeah.
we need a quick first
He's
down and a
built
quick
like a
slant,
slot guy.
we need a quick quick slant and back in. He's the guy.
He's a yak guy.
Yeah.
But he's going to get a lot of the double and triple coverage next year.
Yep.
So Williams, that opens up opportunities for him.
And then you go down back to the tight ends. We got two dogs at tight ends. You got Brock Wright and then starter Sam Porta. Iowa produces a lot of tight ends, tight end U, which crazy comes out of Iowa, personally.
Yeah.
Fucking Iowa. Fuck Iowa. But anyway, I digress. If Salem Porta is healthy, that's great. If he's not, then we know we got Brock Wright coming in. He's been there since the beginning of the Dan Campbell era. A lot of people thought he probably would have got cut. A new guy coming in, but he didn't. He's been proven that he could play. I'm glad we picked him back up in the offseason. We matched the offer of the 49ers. That would have sucked if we lost him.
Who again?
Brock Wright.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know much about him.
Losing Josh Reynolds, that was kind of a loss, kind of a big loss. But, I'm glad that he finally got his start back in the NFL and he's able to move on from Detroit. But I didn't appreciate the comments that he said about Detroit.
What did he say?
Something about how he didn't like it, or his wife said something about how, I don't know. Typical drama. But that dude, I'm grateful for him playing for the team. Jared Goff, he plays well.
He's a good franchise quarterback for you guys.
He's a hell of a field general.
He's done a good job. Like, he's not as flashy or, high potential, big play potential as Stafford was.
And a lot of people thought he was just going to go there to get his career die.
A lot of people did think that.
Yeah.
He's been able to make a name for himself there.
Out of both the trades.
That's good.
Out of both of the trades, I know we're talking about the quarterback when we do quarterback, but I feel like the trades, I think both teams won it out of the trade.
Yeah. I think Rams won it more early on, and you guys are starting to win it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 10, I got the Vikings. So, were you done with the Lions?
Yeah. I was going to just say that number 9 is the Vikings, and I'll just continue up.
Okay. Number 10, I got the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, who I have as their number 3, kind of their slot guy. I don't know much about him, but the reason I have him the Vikings to start my top 10 is because of Justin Jefferson, man. Like, he's so good. He's a top 3 receiver in the league.
What else do we need to say about him?
Right.
He could prove what
we
all
have seen. Like, if you claim to be an NFL fan and you don't know who Justin Jefferson is,
then you need to stop watching NFL.
Then you're not an NFL fan.
You're not
living under a rock.
Yeah.
Especially if you can call yourself a Vikings fan, which,
by the way, the most I hate out of all the NFC teams, it's either Vikings or the Bears.
I honestly, I'm going to go Vikings or Cowboys.
I'm saying out of the North.
Out of the North,
yes.
I'd say Vikings.
But Vikings and Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah. Hawkinson is a solid tight end when he's healthy. We've kind of talked about it before, how he has battled some injuries.
Yep.
And again, it's kind of the quarterback situation. Sam Darnold's going to be the guy this year since J.J. McCarthy had a season-ending injury to start his rookie year, which kind of sucks for him. But could be an opportunity for Darnold to maybe have a good year possibly and, put some teams on notice. And Jordan Addison, he was a rookie last year, and we'll see if he can put together a good second year. It seems like he keeps getting in trouble off the field.
Yes.
So I don't know. They also have Aaron Jones now out of the backfield. He's a great receiver out of the backfield.
Yep.
So,
but they lost KJ Osborne last year.
They did.
Which is
that's who they're missing, kind of. Yeah. They'd be higher if they still had him.
Yeah, I thought they had the best receiving core so far last year.
So that's my number 10.
Yeah.
And then
they were my number 9. So.
And then you're number 9. Yep. So why don't you go ahead?
I mean, we just pretty much hit it on the head right there.
It's Justin Jefferson,
it's a Justin Jefferson. So, and then the TJ Hawkinson if he stays healthy with his knee problems, and then
it's really those two, and then Aaron Jones.
Yep.
Jordan Addison, but can he stay out of trouble? It's so I'll go to my number 9. We already talked enough about the freaking Vikings. I got Seattle Seahawks, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Noah Fant.
Big guy in high school, played him in high school, dude. He is tall as shit. He'd
Not
be
much
tall
more-
as almost the roof in here.
Not much more I have to say about this receiving core. It's
No.
a group of studs. DK's huge. Noah Fant's huge. Tyler Lockett's a shifty guy out of the slot.
The veteran.
Crafty veteran. And Geno Smith, honestly, he's been a very productive quarterback since replacing Russell Wilson. So
You want to talk about a career resurgence?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's who I got at 9. Moving on to 8, I got the Houston Texans. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz at tight end. This is a group that came on big last year with a rookie quarterback, reigning offensive rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud. Tank Dell actually got hurt.
Who could be the NFL in running for the NFL?
Yeah,
MVP.
he's another one of those guys. Tank Dell probably going to run the slot.
And then Nico Collins.
Nico Collins and Diggs out wide. You got Schultz at tight end. Good pass catching back. And Joe Mixon.
Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs. Yep. So it's a solid group, and they have a great quarterback. So
expect them to make a splash in the playoffs.
Who do you got at 8?
I have the Rams, and the reason
Solid
is,
group.
you know, you got to look at Puka Nacua. Dude, that dude.
I say Puka Nacua.
Huh?
Puka.
I said Puka.
No, I say Puka.
Oh, dude, when I watched him play last year in the championship game with the Lions, dude, he was pissed.
That wasn't championship. That was wild card.
Wild card, yeah. Dude, he was pissing me off. And he would catch the ball every time.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the dude never drops the ball.
He's like Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, if Cooper Kupp is healthy. But
if he stays healthy, that's going to be a hell of a
offense,
dynamic duo.
Just the offense,
especially
in general.
with Stafford throwing him the ball,
and then Kyron Williams running in the back.
And then they got Higbee at tight end.
Yep.
And they got a couple guys who will probably rotate in the slot with Demarcus Robinson and Tutu Atwell.
Tutu.
But yeah,
he's probably one of the best rookies that have came out of nowhere ever.
Oh yeah, great rookie receiver. I think it was he was second place for offensive rookie of the year last year after C.J. Stroud. Number 7, I got the Rams. So you pretty much touched on it. We talked about it. It'll be even better if Cooper Kupp can stay healthy.
Yep.
Who do you got at 7?
Seattle. DK Metcalf, he had a back-to-back, 1,000-yard season.
Yep.
They got their shifty little not tight end. Tyler Lockett,
yep.
And it seemed like they added a whole lot this
Jackson
year.
Smith and Jigba is there.
Yep.
And then obviously Noah Fant at tight end.
Yep.
So.
I mean, they seem pretty set. We did a pretty good job already talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
Number 6. I got the Cincinnati Bengals.
Or did you do 7?
I did 7. I had the Rams.
All right.
Number 6, I got the Bengals. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, and the rookie Jermaine Burton is supposed to be that replacement for Tyler Boyd in the slot. So big loss for them, but they're still, very good receiving core just with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who are a great wide receiver duo. If Joe Burrow can stay healthy, Mike Gesicki is a solid tight end. And if the rookie Jermaine Burton can produce from the slot and be a asset to them and be a reliable target for Joe Burrow when the other guys are seeing a lot of double and triple coverage, I think they'll be set.
Yeah, so got Trenton Irwin and Charlie Jones, I think. So
they don't have Joe Mixon anymore out of the backfield. He was a good pass catching back. Now it's Zach Moss, who really isn't known for that.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how they can replace the production out of the backfield from a receiver standpoint. So, who do you got at 6?
I also had the Bengals. Number 6 is my Bengals too.
Number 5, who do you got?
I got the Texans. They made a splash in the offseason with a surprising trade for Stephon Diggs. You can't forget the huge development of Nico Collins last year, becoming a star for the Texans. Tank Dell and Dolan will also be a huge step for this, huge help for this young Texans team.
Nice. Number 5, I got the Bears.
The Bears.
You got DJ Moore returning. You got Cole Kmet at tight end returning. You also got Keenan Allen, who is new coming in, and the rookie Roma Dunze. So, and you got the rookie Caleb Williams, who's been having a great preseason. And I knew he would ball out. I mean, I know it's only preseason. He's probably going to have a statistically good regular season, and with a receiving core like this, it's no surprise with the talent level. Plus, Swift out of the backfield, a backup tight end like Gerald Everett. Um, yeah, it's just breaking down the core at DJ Moore, speedy veteran, 1,000-yard receiver. Keenan Allen, more of a crafty route runner,
Yep.
veteran,
I
the
actually
1,000-yard receiver.
just watched the interview with Aaron Rodgers, and he actually thinks the Bears are going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah.
He's like, I got out in just time, so I can't lose my ownership of the team.
Yeah. Roma Dunze is gonna, make a splash as a rookie. He's one of the top 3 rookie receivers this year. Cole Kmet is a solid tight end and a good backup tight end in Gerald Everett. And like I said, Swift for the screens out of the backfield, and then it's it comes down to Caleb Williams if he can distribute the ball to them. I think he needs to have a combination of his ability to, uh, play off script, off platform, and ad lib a little bit, kind of like he does, but also play within the structure of the offense. And it pains me to say it, but I could see the Bears having a explosive offense this year. I don't necessarily know if they'll win a lot of games, but I think statistically they'll have a solid offense. And Caleb Williams will be the first Bears quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards. You heard it here. He will be. Regardless of what you think of him as a person, he's a great quarterback.
I guess we'll wait and see.
Who do you got at 5?
I already did my 5.
Who do you got at 4?
Miami. And put Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill are the face of the Dolphins receiver room. They both combine most of the team's catches. We also can't forget how fast Mr. Cheetah is, but his pullout game isn't. Last thing I would like to add is
We got to talk about that, don't we?
Yeah, last thing I would like to add to this is if the Dolphins were to add another top receiver or top tight end next season, they would easily be a very dangerous squad, especially with Tua at quarterback.
I got the Buccaneers at 4. I told you guys they were in my top 5. Kale had them at 18. And that's been our biggest difference. And this is really our first list where we weren't we kind of differed more towards the top here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buccaneers, you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, Cade Otton, Rachaad White out of the backfield, and Baker Mayfield coming off his best year statistically in 2023. Evans and Godwin have both already proven they can have 1,000-yard years. Palmer's that number 3.
I think he could do it.
He can do it. I think him and Godwin, one of those two will be running the slot. Evans is getting older, but he's still productive. He's still a dog. He's had 1,000-yard year every year he's been in the league, too.
And they got Baker Mayfield, who is a dog.
He is. And Cade Otton is a solid red zone threat. Solid tight end. Nothing great, nothing flashy. He's just consistent. And so, yeah, I think they deserve a high spot on this list. Who you got at number 3?
I have the Bears. The Bears this offseason made some moves to add some solid depth, adding Keenan Allen and their first-round draft pick, Romeo Odunze. Romeo.
It's Rome.
Nope. Odunze to help DJ Moore and
It's
Cole.
Rome Odunze, dude.
Sure, whatever. To help DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, expect this team to make a statement and impact with this receiver and tight end core right away week 1. And they also, like you said, I keep forgetting about it, they added DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Who is a fasty little fuck and he is a great receiver.
And he also had his first 1,000-yard rushing year last season with the Eagles.
What the hell, Detroit? But
Detroit's pretty set at running back.
We got pretty stacked up at running back.
Yeah. Number 3, I got the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I mean, they've both had back-to-back 1,000-yard years. They are the face of the Dolphins receiving corps, like you said. They're both super fast, and they are used so well in that Mike McDaniel offense with Tua at
Who looks
quarterback.
like a fucking coke dealer or kingpin now.
Mike McDaniel
He's a character.
he's a character. Tight end, they got Jonnu Smith. They also picked up Odell Beckham Jr. this offseason, who
But
they might run a little slot for them.
He's running a little. He's not as good as he used to be.
They also have Braxton Berrios, too.
Yeah. Another Caleb Daly Madden alumni.
Their offense is just predicated on speed and timing, and they do it so well, and they're so productive. I mean, I think they'll have another great year if Tua can stay healthy. They're gonna eat again this year, and Tyreek Hill is. Last year he got really close to 2,000 receiving yards, but didn't quite get there. I think he finished second place in Offensive Player of the Year, right behind Christian McCaffrey. But going on to number 2, I got the 49ers. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, CMC out of the backfield, who's actually a huge weapon for them out of the backfield. Best receiving back in the league. The rookie Ricky Pearsall, who might be replacing Ayuk if they end up trading Ayuk. It's kind of up in the air. The reason I didn't have him at 1, but also I kind of think the team I have at 1 deserves it. But it's because the situation with Ayuk is still up in the air, kind of. They haven't finalized the deal. Is he staying? Is he going?
Okay, where should I go?
But they've had so much production out of this receiving corps.
Now? Sorry.
So many All-Pros. Debo's super versatile. CMC, super versatile. Ayuk runs great routes, great hands. Kittle, number 2 best tight end in the league. Brock Purdy runs the offense great. Underrated quarterback. Who do you got at 2?
The Eagles. With the recent trade earlier this week with Doxson, it didn't affect his ranking very much, but the Eagles have a chance to run a pass-heavy offense. But, however, does this mean that there will be less targets for Smith, Goddard?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
And then A.J. Brown, and then there was another player, Saquon Barkley.
Well, they added Jahan Dotson from the Commanders. And then Devontae Smith also is still there, too.
But, I mean, I can't really say Barkley very much. He's going to run the ball at that point.
He's still a great weapon, though, as a backfield pass catcher.
So somebody's going to get – they're going to get lost a little bit.
I got the Eagles at 1. They moved from 2 to 1 after they got Jahan Dotson. And they got that true slot receiver. Before that, it was Paris Campbell, who isn't terrible, but Jahan Dotson fills that role much better. And, again, it's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith out wide, Goddard at tight end, and then Dotson in the slot. You can't forget Barkley out of the backfield. They're really giving – and also they have one of the best O-lines in the league. Oh, this year is really going to show you if Jalen Hurts is that dude or not.
Yeah.
Like if Jalen Hurts comes out and has another kind of a down year, might be time to move on. Because you look at his career so far, his first full year as a starter kind of went under the radar. The Eagles snuck into the playoffs as a 7th seed. His second year, he came out of nowhere, had an MVP caliber year, took him to the Super Bowl. And then last year, he still had a good year. You know, he did all the same things he did in his MVP caliber year, but turned the ball over a lot more. And the Eagles struggled down the stretch and struggled to find their identity offensively. But now they're giving him no excuse. They went and got him a Saquon Barkley. They got him a solid slot receiver in Jahan Dotson. They have one of the best O-lines in the league. They have everything offensively to have one of the best offenses in the league. And so that's another reason why I got their receiving corps at number 1 is they're just doing everything they can to make sure Jalen Hurts succeeds. So I know who you have number 1, but why don't you close us out with your number 1?
I would like to say I didn't expect their number 1s to really match up.
No.
I had a feeling you would change your ranking with Philly after,
The Dotson trade.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's not much to say about the 49ers. I mean, I picked them because they have Ayuk, Debo, Kettle, and hell, even CMC if they wanted to throw to him. This team is pretty loaded on people who can catch the ball in crucial games and crucial catches.
The cool thing with that too is they can flop CMC and Debo because Debo can play a little running back.
Yeah.
CMC can play receiver.
So could,
and so that's
Ayuk could play the running back spot if you wanted to as well.
Ayuk's more of just a pure receiver though.
Yeah.
Debo they actually use at running back, and CMC they can use as a receiver.
Yep.
And they can flip flop. Obviously, they don't do that as much, but they can do it if they need to. So. Plus, yeah, Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, also is used as a tight end sometimes. That's receiving course. Any final thoughts, Kale? I thought you had a good list.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, our biggest difference was the Buccaneers.
And number one, number two, a little bit.
I had them in my top 5. You had them in your top 20.
Lineman. Next one we're doing line.
Next one is O-line. I struggled with that one. That's been my hardest one so far.
So we decided to we're gonna do defense and special teams at one.
Yep.
I think we're just gonna name the defense position, or no, the team with the best defense.
And special teams collective.
I was gonna say we should do it.
Like how they do it, man.
Yeah, so say like oh well, the Detroit Lions have the Cleveland Browns have the number 2 or number 32 defense, and then we're gonna add on if we think they're
We'll talk about their special teams.
Yep.
I think it's prevalent to talk about special teams. Like we kind of debated if we were going to do a special teams episode, but I think it's important, especially this season.
Yeah.
Kickoff change.
Yeah, and if someone comes back and watches this, and be like, "Where's the special teams?"
Right. It's an important part of the game, man. It's a huge part of the game. Like I said, it's
unless you're the
CFL.
CFL.
With the new kickoff rule, so.
Unless you're CFL and you just want to give points wherever you can give points.
Yeah, even if you miss the field goal, you still get a point.
Yeah. So, well, I think that was a great episode.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. Don't forget to follow Agent Life Media. Catch up with touching base. If you want to listen to like people and their stories, where they've got to where they are, that's a great podcast. Or if you like the political stuff and you want to listen to that, that's also a great one. Useless Assumptions, not touching base. Or if you like fishing and you like racing, go listen to Justin and Cameron over on Talking Dirt. Our brand, it has about everything.
Yeah.
We do most of the sports, unless if they want to do sports, we're always open to them doing sports. It don't matter to us.
Talk about anything.
Yeah, we're kind of more your all around bullshitting podcast with sports.
Yep.
Last week's episode with Craig, that social media, when I was doing the shorts and edits, I have never laughed so hard. Oh, the one with the Vans coming out of nowhere saying, that still caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I was trying to think what I could put in there. I thought about doing like the little bonk with the dog.
Yeah.
But Sam, you got anything you want to close out with?
Thanks for watching. Keep supporting.
The little likes and subscribes, it goes a long way. You'd be surprised.
We're having a lot of fun doing this. So
yes. Do you guys like the new studio setup a little bit? We kind of been working on it, making it better, putting more stuff.
More casual, relaxed kind of setup.
Yeah, and only that, I think.
We're gonna keep adding to
it. Yep. And it could always change, and I'm okay with the change. So what we do, I like to call this at this point the TNT Boys headquarters.
The TNT cave.
The TNT cave, yes, I like that. The mining cave, because TNT, the mine shaft. There we go. The mine shaft.
There we go.
We're in the mine shaft. I fucking love that. It is. This could always change. I don't have a problem doing it. Mi casa. you know. So I had the extra room, and I thought about doing it. And
Nice.
you know what? I don't really have much else to say. I'll actually do one thing. Vance is not pizza, whatever he said.
Yeah, it's not pizza pie. It's not pizza pie. It's
If
out
anyone's
pie.
been wondering what we've been saying at the end of these videos, it's peace out, bye.
It's okay, peace out, bye.
Okay, peace out, bye.
Okay, peace out, bye.
Okay, peace out, bye.